Hey guys, Godzilla 101 here, and welcome back to another Kaiju versus battle. I know it's been a while since we've done one of these, since I've just been, piling on gameplay videos of Tekken 8. Love Tekken 8, by the way, great story. But, I figured with the somewhat recent release of the absolute masterpiece that was Godzilla Minus One and the new incarnation of the King of God the Legend, the Big G himself, I think it'd be fun to, put him against, some of his brethren, or one of his brethren at least, put him against another Godzilla that he's somewhat similar to. And I thought the one other Godzilla incarnation that's similar to Minus One, and that's also from a well-acclaimed or some would even call a masterpiece of a Godzilla film, is Godzilla from GMK, Godzilla Mothra King Ghidorah All Attack. Not Baragon though, because Baragon gets bodied pretty early on in the film. Now, the thought of this matchup occurred to me fairly recently because they have similar abilities. Both have broken ass regeneration, extremely powerful variations of the atomic breath, and of course, they both have an extreme hatred for Japan. They just fucking hate that city so much. But yeah, no, this I thought this was a very interesting matchup. I don't think anybody's ever really done this before, or I don't see GMK Godzilla really being put up in any fights against like other kaiju or other versions of himself. Honestly, so yeah, I thought this would be pretty interesting. Give some notoriety to GMK Godzilla because he is pretty strong, I'd say, especially if you take into consideration with the regeneration. And Godzilla Minus One is pretty strong too, but to make it more fair, because like Minus One is like like the size of a baby compared to the other Godzillas. He's like the size of the 1954 Godzilla. So we're gonna scale him up to be a GMK size to make the fight a little bit more fair and not have it a one-sided stomp. Also, sorry if my voice sounds like off throughout the video. I got a cold. It's nothing. I'm not super sick, but I just got a light little, cough and snot in my nose. You guys want to know that much. It's pretty disgusting, but it's pretty chilly down here where I live. So sorry if the video sounds off or whatever. I can't control it when I don't have sicknesses. So sorry about that. But yeah, that should be all of the requirements. Really, the fight actually should be pretty fair. There's not that much to cover. The movies, GMK and Minus One don't showcase that many Godzilla abilities, so we should be able to get through this very quickly. And yeah, it should be a pretty fun matchup. So yeah, enough stalling. Nothing else more needs to be said. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am. And yeah, let's get into the matchup. Alright, starting off with Godzilla from Godzilla Minus One. Now, because of the film still being somewhat fairly new in the Godzilla franchise, I won't be going over the whole history. I'll just, cover up some summary notes and stuff like that. I'll still cover his, abilities, attack power, all that stuff. So, spoilers for Godzilla Minus One's abilities, but I won't be going over the whole story as a, I won't be spoiling all that for you guys. So, you're safe from that. Godzilla originally starts the film off as a Godzillasaurus, or a dinosaur-like monster that originated in Odo Island that the people worshipped as he brought them fish to eat for them to, prosper. And they originally worshipped him as a god as that. But he was caught in the radiation blast of the atomic testing of Bikini Atoll, I think is what they say in the movie. It's been a while since I watched Minus One, but I remember a lot of the stuff. And because of that, Godzilla was then irradiated into monster as we know him as now. And he attacks like one city, I'm pretty sure in the film, and then the scientists make a plan to lure him out in the ocean and kill him, and they do. And yeah, that's all I'm saying. That's literally all I'm saying. Please watch the movie for yourself. The movie's fantastic. I don't want to spoil it all. That's literally the summary keynotes. That's all I'm saying. And yeah, let's get into the abilities. That's literally all I'm saying. Go watch Minus One if you haven't already. It's a fantastic film. Not even really Godzilla. It's Godzilla related, but still, if you're not even a Godzilla fan, just watch it. It's a fantastic movie. But don't pull a Mr. Sniper though. What was his name? Doctor Sniper. That guy who didn't understand Godzilla at all. Don't pull him. Don't pull him. But just watch the film. It's fantastic. Alright, now on to the abilities. First off, starting off with Godzilla's most signature or iconic move, the Atomic Breath. Godzilla's most deadly weapon is his signature Atomic Breath, or as it's called in the film, the Heat Ray. A blue ray of superheated atomic energy fired from his mouth. Before using the attack, Godzilla's dorsal fins jut out of his body and emit a blue glow one by one, starting from the tip of his tail up to his back. Glowing blue I can't fucking speak. Ionized radiation leaks from his mouth as his eyes and neck glow. The fins then all retract back into his body as he fires the heat ray from his mouth. And according to the director, the nature of Godzilla's atomic breath is similar to the implosion method of detonating an atomic bomb, whereby nuclear materials condense towards the center all at once and detonates once it reaches a point of critical mass. The beam generates an extremely powerful explosion upon striking its target, creating a mushroom cloud in a crater and generating incredibly powerful shockwaves that level anything around the blast. The atomic breath is so powerful, in fact, that it leaves Godzilla face burned. So the atomic breath is stronger than Godzilla's own normal base durability, requiring him to regenerate before using the ability again. Godzilla first used his atomic breath to destroy the cruiser Tycho, I believe that's how you call it, sorry if I'm butchering the name, instantaneously from below it, then to destroy a group of tanks in Tokyo and level most of Ginza in the process. The director Yamazaki has described it as the strongest weapon on Earth at the time of the film's 1947 setting or post-World War II setting. Now, taking this statement literally, this would mean that it has an explosive yielding exceeding that of the nuclear bomb used in the Trinity test, which of course was equal to 100 terajoules. His atomic breath is also stated to be so hot that it sublined the iron in the Tycho's ship, as well as the National Diet Building and the buildings surrounding it. The Ginza blast was so powerful that it pulverized everything within a 6 kilometer radius. Meaning, Godzilla's atomic breath, or one blast from Godzilla's fully powered atomic breath, is equal to 1 megaton nuke, which is able to destroy an entire city, which equivalently makes the atomic breath city level. However, while saying that, it is shown in the film that the atomic breath, while Godzilla fires it, it still does damage him. Like you can see like burn marks around his skin every time after he fires it. So I'd say the atomic breath is definitely stronger than Godzilla's durability. However, Godzilla is able to tank attacks that are stronger than his durability, though. It's a confusing phrase, but we'll get into it in the next topic. This, of course, leads nicely into the next topic of discussion, which is Godzilla's regenerative ability. Sorry, speaking super fast. Godzilla's regeneration is probably the most OP ability he has, aside from the atomic breath. It's actually stated in the novelization that Godzilla actually would have died from the nuclear blast of the nuke that was dropped on Bikini Atoll. However, it's because of his regeneration that he was able to tank that. Well, not even tank that, really regenerate fast enough to where he wasn't able to die. Also worth mentioning, he was able to regenerate half of his face getting blown off, which was shown in the film. Just want to point that out. And backtracking a little to the atomic breath, with Godzilla's atomic breath surpassing his durability, coupled with his regeneration, he is able to heal after the atomic breath is constantly fired. So even if he does take damage from it, he is able to like regenerate from it. And it's also stated in the novelization, you'll see a lot of Godzilla minus one's feats come from there, that his regeneration is like at a microsecond, like it's faster than the eye can see, which is kind of proven in the movie too when he regenerates half his face. Godzilla's physical capabilities are also showcased in the film when he's able to knock around a few buildings in Ginza with just easily too. Like he's not trying his hardest to destroy them. So while not really going all out, he's destroying these like small to large buildings around in Ginza with just normal claw slashes and tail swipes. And that's really it for Godzilla minus one. He doesn't really showcase that many abilities in the film itself because it's centered around him, but he's not in it as much, which is pretty common in a lot of Godzilla films. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. But yeah, there's not really that much else to talk about. I could talk about like his weakness, about like a weakness. I say weakness is pretty obvious as it's just like the inside of his mouth, like because no real weapon Japan uses on him works since his hide is like impenetrable to any man-made weapon, almost, I guess, if you count the nuclear bomb. But that was if you count the nuclear bomb testing, but that was pre-radiation form. So I guess he is stronger in his radioactive form, which should be obvious. But yeah, I guess you can count that. But again, pre-irradiated form, there's levels to this shit, if you know what I mean. But yeah, like the inside of his mouth, the obvious weakness, but we'll touch upon that when we get into the actual fight. But yeah, that's it for Godzilla minus one. Again, pretty standard for Godzilla character. But yeah, without further ado, let's just get into GMK. Alright, now we are on to Godzilla from Godzilla GMK. Now, this Godzilla is a supernatural entity inhabited by the restless souls of those killed in the Pacific theater during World War II. So yeah, not as a not a normal backstory for Godzilla as we're used to. This Godzilla sought revenge against Japan for forgetting and ignoring the past. He came ashore and punished the nation by obliterating its cities. However, to combat the beast, the prophet Hirotoshi Isayama awakened three guardian monsters, Baragon, Mothra, and King Ghidorah, in hopes that they would defend the country. Godzilla, however, easily defeated all three monsters, but their efforts exploited a weakness in Godzilla that the Japanese Defense Force used to finally defeat him. However, even after Godzilla's entire body was destroyed, his heart was left behind, continuously beating on the seafloor. That's, another broad summary of GMK. Another Godzilla film you should definitely check out, by the way. It's fantastic. It subverts your expectations, but in a good way. It's very good. Anyways, back onto the power scaling. Starting off with his most iconic move, what else? The atomic breath. Now, when charging the beam, Godzilla's dorsal fins actually stand up as they are surrounded by an intense blue glow. Gold. What the fuck? This Godzilla's atomic breath is extremely powerful and is capable of producing a mushroom cloud upon impact, crippling or destroying other kaiju in a single hit. It also possesses pinpoint accuracy demonstrated when Godzilla easily blasts numerous fighter jets out of the sky with it, making it at least Mach 8 in speed. He also has a gravitational atomic breath, the one that was used when he absorbed King Ghidorah's gravity beams. Somehow, we're not. I'm not going to use that in this fight because it's a kind of an instant win because that atomic breath is extreme. It's a powered up version of the atomic breath, and it's extremely powerful. Literally one shot King Ghidorah, which was stronger than regular base Ghidorah. But we'll get into the scaling a little bit later. But yeah, not going to be relevant in this. By the way, for anybody who thought that, I'm not using the gravitational atomic breath in this fight because why would no? Just no. I'm not going to use it. Also, his base normal atomic breath, it can be used underwater. If the fight takes place underwater, it's not going to take place underwater, but just thought it'd be nice to mention. One of GMK Godzilla's greatest assets is his extreme durability. Now, Godzilla proves to be completely immune to all the Japanese Defense Forces weaponry, including the Do-3 missile, an armor-piercing warhead designed to penetrate solid rock, which explodes harmlessly against his armored hide. In addition, the various attacks used against him by the Guardian monsters, Ghidorah, Mothra, and Baragon, while able to hurt Godzilla, are unable to penetrate his skin. It's only once a powerful energy ball fired by King Ghidorah and powered by Godzilla's own atomic breath is able to penetrate his skin. However, Godzilla's capacity for survival extended far beyond that of a natural creature, as even after the destruction of his entire body, his still disembodied heart was beating continuously on the seafloor. However, aside from his extreme durability and his atomic breath, the GMK Godzilla uses other tactics to fight the Guardian monsters, such as stomps Baragon into the ground during their fight, he bites down on one of Ghidorah's necks and draws blood, then he easily knocks Mothra away with his tail when she attempts to attack him from behind. So this Godzilla is pretty easily able to throw hands with other monsters that are somewhat equal to or, weaker than him. Godzilla displays impressive physical strength and he flips Ghidorah over onto a building by grabbing him by one of his necks. And to prove just how impressive that is, even though GMK King Ghidorah is a bit smaller than Godzilla, he still weighs over 25,000 metric tons, so yeah, safe to say GMK Godzilla is pretty fucking strong. But of course, he isn't without his weaknesses, and like Godzilla -1, his real weakness is the inside of his mouth, it's the inside of his body. So King Ghidorah, using the big ball of energy, coupled with Godzilla's own atomic breath energy, was able to pierce Godzilla's skin. Now, we don't know how strong this huge beam of energy, or the huge spear of I'm gonna call it the spear of destruction because kind of looks like Beerus' Spear of Destruction attack. So we don't know how strong King Ghidorah's Spear of Destruction attack is. However, it was still able to completely launch Godzilla across the border of the city they were fighting in and completely into the water. However, Godzilla still was able to fight, but he was still somewhat injured by that attack. And that's really all we have for GMK Godzilla. Like I said, both movies don't really feature that many abilities of the Godzillas. It's more story focused, character driven, plot concerned, that sort of stuff, which is definitely good. Both movies are fantastic, but for power scaling wise, doesn't really give a lot of stuff for us to add on. But hey, we work with what we got, and what we got is good enough for this matchup. So without further ado, enough stalling. Let's get into the fight and Let's see who wins this battle. Okay, so I'm gonna be completely honest. This matchup is way closer than I thought it would be, or than I thought it should be. Like there are not a lot, but the variables that we do have to take into account involve like a lot of not assuming, but like a lot of just what ifs in a sense. Like, okay, well, first off, let's get the first thing out of the way. Godzilla minus, oh, sorry, knocked over twice. Godzilla minus one's regeneration is faster than GMK's. Like, let's just get that out of the way. I know GMK was able to survive as a disemboweled heart, but however, he was able to get attacked by GMK Ghidorah's Spear of Destruction attack. However, he didn't heal from that. Like he probably was healing over time, but it took a while. Meanwhile, Godzilla minus one's head like literally just caved in after being exploded, and he healed in an instant. So not GMK. Minus one's regeneration just completely negs GMK's. But within saying that, however, Godzilla minus one doesn't really have any combat experience fighting any other kaiju yet. Anyway, I know there's talk about a sequel where the director wants to, have Godzilla minus one fight another kaiju, but that's not out yet. We're focusing on minus one Godzilla, and right now, minus one Godzilla has like no wins under his belt. Kaiju wins anyway? Like he really he doesn't have any like battle experience fighting any other kaiju. Meanwhile, GMK is ragdolling King Ghidorah, bodying one-shotting Mothra, and just absolutely disrespecting Baragon. So GMK definitely takes it. If the fight ever comes up close, like hand-to-hand, GMK is definitely defeating Godzilla minus one in that aspect. However, even if the fight was to come to hand-to-hand combat, because of Godzilla minus one's just absolutely stupidly fast regeneration, it wouldn't really matter all that much, considering the fact that if GMK, like, I don't know, claws minus one's jaw off or bites his neck out, Godzilla can just minus one Godzilla can just instantly regenerate from that in seconds to just keep going, and it doesn't like take away from his stamina, as we've seen. The only thing that really stops or like slows down his regeneration is him using the atomic breath, which, by the way, alright, the atomic breath debate. Now, this is probably going to be pretty contentious to a lot of people, but in terms, okay, first off, speed. I believe that minus one's atomic breath is faster than GMK's. Now, I understand that GMK's Godzilla's atomic breath can reach like Mach 8 speeds, considering the fact it can like tag fighter jets out of the sky. However, in the minus one novelization, I know you guys fucking GMK fans are annoyed by that word. There are multiple times where it's stated or just said throughout that Godzilla's atomic breath or the heat ray is reminiscent, or it looks like a pure beam of light. Like light is literally just shooting out of his mouth. So we can infer from that the atomic breath, or minus one's atomic breath, is at least relativistic to light speed, putting him way past GMK's atomic breath speed. Attack power, again, have to give it to Godzilla minus one. Keeps calling his movie name. Again, the Genza feat just complete the 6 kilometer radius outclasses anything GMK's normal atomic breath was able to do. Now, the real interesting question is minus one's atomic breath equal or more powerful than King Ghidorah's Spear of Destruction attack? And I'd have to say it has to be at the very least, GMK fans, sorry, you're not going to like this, but at the very least, I'd say it's relative, if not higher than King Ghidorah's Spear of Destruction attack. Again, the Genza feat is just so underrated, dude. 6 kilometers, like, visually, even it's more, like, impressive than GMK. I know that's not really a fair argument considering, the technology at this time, but, I mean, still, like, the amount of just destruction that the minus one's fully powered atomic breath cause is just insane. Like 30,000 people dead, 20,000 injured, just the entire attack just completely wasted that part of the city. And GMK's King Ghidorah's Spear Destruction attack was launched at like a harbor almost. Like, well, not really part of the harbor. It was next to the harbor. It didn't really destroy any it didn't really like a huge crater impact when it was fired. It more just like kind of pushed Godzilla back into the water. So just even by like feet stamp, and it didn't even really kill Godzilla. It just like left a small injury hole. That Ginza attack completely wiped out the entire city, like literally everything. So yeah, just based off of what we're shown, again with the attack power as well, I'd have to say -1's Atomic Breath is most likely stronger than King Ghidorah's Spear of Destruction attack. And with that being said, I definitely believe -1's Atomic Breath is able to damage GMK, if not more, even more damage than he was in with King Ghidorah's Spear of Destruction attack. I definitely believe -1's Atomic Breath is able to completely harm GMK, even with like his high surviving DO3 missiles. Again, Godzilla's Atomic Breath is most likely stronger than any man-made weapon, even in 2001 at the time where the movie takes place. Just yeah, Godzilla's Atomic Breath is definitely able to just completely, or not completely, but just definitely damage GMK at the very least, create the same injury that King Ghidorah's Spear of Destruction attack did. Now, he cannot spam that move, as we've stated before, because it does damage -1's like mouth or just it just damages him in general. So he has to regenerate constantly after he uses it. So he cannot spam that attack. So that's definitely something in favor of GMK. And while saying that, GMK still is able to like completely lift -1 again, as shown with King Ghidorah. GMK Godzilla is able to lift kaiju that are relative in size to him. And since this is, you know, -1 is going to be the same size as GMK, it makes sense that GMK can lift and throw -1. Now, however, I did state, even though he is able to lift him, that still doesn't mean like -1 is going to completely regenerate any damage that GMK does to him at the time. Now, with all this being said, I really see no real reason how GMK could win this fight. I mean, again, we've already discussed the up-close quarters combat. He has that advantage completely. Godzilla -1 never been in a fight with another kaiju before, so GMK has the up-close quarters advantage. But again, -1 has the regeneration, the atomic breath, the speed feats. Like it's just a complete stomp in anything that isn't up-close fights, you know. And even still, even in the up-close fight range, -1 can still regenerate any damage that GMK does to him. So yeah, sorry, it really just doesn't seem like there's anything GMK can. Now, to add some fairness to GMK Godzilla, I will allow him to use the gravitational atomic breath. Since I know what I said, oh, but you said you weren't going to use, I get it, I understand, but seeing how much of a stomp this is in -1's favor, we're going to allow him to use the gravitational atomic breath. And yeah, it does do damage to, you know, Godzilla -1. Godzilla -1 is able to, you know, be injured by that attack. I do believe that if GMK were to hit Godzilla -1 with the gravitational atomic breath, of course they do damage. However, like I said, keyword damage, not kill, damage. Considering fact, first, if it did kill air quotes, kill Godzilla -1, as we've seen at the end of his respective film, he can literally regenerate from a small slab of meat. He can't die. He's essentially immortal. He can literally just regenerate from any piece of small meat that gets left behind. Literally nothing. He cannot die. In broad stroke terms, -1 cannot die. Secondly, Godzilla. It's been stated that yeah, Godzilla -1 can tank attacks that are stronger than his durability. His regeneration is fast enough to like where he can tank an attack. He survived the nuke, the Bikini Atoll nuke. Of course, he's gonna somewhat survive. Like he's gonna be somewhat okay against the gravitational atomic breath. Now, whether it completely incinerates him, it's not. Again, he was able to survive the Bikini Atoll attack, so there's no way that the gravitational atomic breath is gonna completely vaporize -1. Even so, a weaker Godzilla -1 was able to survive the Bikini Atoll attack. Sorry I keep cutting back to it, but it's like, it's just, there's really nothing that not -1, GMK can do against -1. That regeneration, the atomic breath AP, it's too broken, man. And with all this being said, yeah, this brings us to the end of the video. Ending on a sour note, well, sour note for GMK fans. Yeah, Godzilla -1 takes this at an astounding stomp of a victory. You know, I thought it was close at first, but then the more I started thinking about it, I was like, okay, maybe -1 actually is just absolutely broken, and there's really nothing that GMK can do. Yeah, man. Sorry, GMK fans, but -1 is just that overpowered. You know, we'll see what happens in the sequel if he fights another kaiju and gets dominated by that. Maybe it'll be an even worse stomp. Well, hey, maybe there'll be feats that contradict what I say in this. Maybe you'll give GMK a better chance. So maybe I might remake this video. I probably won't, and GMK will probably still be completely outclassed by -1, and -1 will probably get even stronger in the sequel. But hey, who knows? I sure as hell don't. I'm not in the fucking directorial room or seat. But yeah, sorry, damn, it's a lot of slap. That's the end of today's video. I know, sorry for another one-sided stomp. I have to choose better matchups, but hey, I thought it would be equal. I thought this would be a pretty fun matchup. Both have very similar origins, similar abilities, similar endings. I thought, hey, it'd be a fun little close fight. And I thought it was going to be super close at first. I thought it was way closer than it was at at first glance. But then I got proven viciously wrong. Absolutely I got stood corrected disgustingly. So yeah, that's the end of the video. Tell me your thoughts below. Do you think I'm completely wrong? Do you think I'm right? Do you have no idea what you just watched? Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe. Um, don't know when I'm gonna upload next, but who knows? Who knows? I don't know. I sure as hell don't know when I'm gonna upload next. I guess we just have to stick around and find out. So yeah, love you guys. See you all in the next video. Hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. And yeah, peace.